Hello, my amazing kings and queens. King Moreland here. As you know, I'm on a mission to help you unlock your fullest potential and become the absolute best versions of yourself. Whether you're facing challenges, chasing dreams, or just looking to level up in life, you've come to the right place. Every week, we dive deep into mindset shifts, strategies, and practical tools that will help you transform your life from the inside out. This is your channel, your personal development channel, so you can become the powerhouses you were meant to be in the world. A channel where mediocrity is not accepted and excellence is our standard. So if you're ready to join a community of passionate individuals committed to growth like yourself, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that like button, and let's continue this journey together. All right. So, you guys are going to be entering the zone where we break the matrix. It's right there. I'm going to be introducing you guys to a new series of mine that I'm going to be calling the Break the Matrix series. In this series, we are going to essentially undergo a reprogramming. You know, all the lies that we have heard throughout our lives, so much so that we begin to believe that they were true, I'm going to be demystifying those for you and helping you essentially wake up and reprogram your mind and rewire your brain to think differently. There's so many things that we were taught, but we were lied to. And I want to make sure that those lies are no longer like operating in our system, operating in our brain. Because once you have an educated brain, you then have freedom. And a free mind can't be chained up by the matrix. And that's why we're breaking out. So, let's get into it. This first episode, we're gonna begin into it. College is a scam. But here's the thing. You should go anyways. I'm gonna tell you why. College is a scam, and I'm gonna prove it to you. But the twist is, I'm also gonna suggest that you go anyways. Why? Because in the matrix that we live in, sometimes the only way out is through the front door. Hate to say it, but I gotta be honest with you all. So, let's get down to it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. College is a scam because college is a business. It sells you a dream of success by profiting off your fear of failure. And the price you might be thinking, it's a degree that does not guarantee you a job, but does guarantee you debt in most cases. Or else you have parents or an inheritance where they pay for it for you, you're going to be diving into debt to get that degree. And there's no guarantee that you'll get a job using that degree. In fact, many of us end up getting jobs that have absolutely nothing to do with our degree. But that's part of the scam. So, this video isn't going to be entirely opinionated. I have the facts too. So let's get into that. The average student loan debt for a borrower in the U.S. as of 2024 is $37,090. Quite a bit, especially for someone who might not get a job paying that much. Number two, the U.S. college dropout rate is 40%. And please, don't just take my word for it. Google it yourself. You'll see that what I'm saying is the truth. Let's keep going though. The unemployment rate for recent grads with a bachelor's degree is 4.1%. And here's the kicker. College tuition has increased over 1,300% since 1980. Think about it. That's not that long ago. That's only 45 years ago. In college tuition, the price has gone up over 1,300%. It's crazy, right? So here's the thing. College isn't a scam because you learn or don't learn. That's not it. College is a scam because it costs so much for basic credentials that should be a lot more affordable or even free. I mean, there's websites like Udemy that teaches you a lot of the same things that college can teach you. Here's the other thing. I read a lot of books, so I also know that you can get a college level education from reading books. A lot of the secrets that they teach you in college, they come from books. So honestly, that's one of the things you can do. The scam is that as a society, we have made it okay for 18-year-olds to sign six-figure contracts with no financial literacy. That's the scam. Because in no other system would that be okay. If you want to buy a home here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you actually need a certificate. You need a home buying certificate. You need to be able to tell people that you're educated. Like, if you want to get your CCWs, you have to go to classes for that. You need to be able to tell people that you are educated to get a gun. So why are we able to get these huge loans from colleges without being educated? Makes you think, right? Let's keep going. Here's how they scam you. They play on your fear of being left behind. They use phrases like, you'll never get a good job without a degree. And for a lot of fields, that might be true. But here's what they don't tell you. The college tuition is overpriced education. You're not paying for education necessarily. Honestly, you're paying for access. Most courses can be learned online or for free or cheap. But without that paper that you graduated from blank college, you're invisible to a lot of employers. So that's honestly what you're paying for. You're paying for access. You're paying for the ability to open doors that you can't open without a college degree. But it's important that you know that, so they can't sell you on just getting an education in general. You need to have a plan. But here's number 2. Let's dive deeper. Then there's predatory lending. As I mentioned earlier, at 18, you can get private loans that have 6 to 12% interest rates, and they're for thousands of dollars. A lot of money. It's crazy. And then here's the other thing. There is no guaranteed ROI. No guarantee of a return on investment. No guarantee that with that degree, you'll be able to get a job in that field. It's not a guarantee. You have to choose the right major. If you don't choose the right major and you pick a major that has low demand and it isn't able to get you a high-paying job or a job that at least can cover the monthly payments on that student loan debt that you took, you're certainly cooked. And I hate to say it like that, but I mean, I have to be honest with you. This is why I'm putting this content out, is so you can wake up. Number 3, then there's a credential trap. Employers don't always need degrees for you to do the job, but the system forces them to use it as a filter for hiring. They pretty much have to use degrees as a way to weed people in and out of positions, making it to where you essentially have to get that degree if you want to work at a job and have certain positions. You have to have the paperwork, and it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. Here's the other thing. The marketing they sell you on by saying things like, oh man, it's the college experience. And then you got to think about it. I'm going to tell you straight up. Having gone to college myself, that college experience isn't worth all that they say it is. You tell me, do you think it's worth tens of thousands of dollars? I mean, I'm just being honest. You must realize that that is a scam in and of itself. It sounds nice because when we go to college, we're usually really young-minded. But when you mature, you realize that adults can go party anytime that they want, especially adults with money. And if you didn't go to college and give them all of your money, you would be an adult with some money. So that's a scam too. But they sell us on it, and because we're young, we believe them. They're lying to you. So, after saying all of that, I know you're thinking, oh man, I'm never going to college. But I'm going to be the person to tell you it's a scam, but I'm also going to be the person to tell you why you should go anyways. Now, you're an adult. You can make whatever decision you want to make. But just being honest, you should go. And here's why. Let me flip it for you. Yes, it's a scam, but it's a scam that's part of the system we live in. And until you have your own system, your own empire, your own leverage, you need the credentials that college gives you. Because in this country, when you have college degrees, you have options. And you need options. So here's some real world statistics. And like I said before, please, if you don't trust what I'm saying, Google it yourself. It took me a while to make this episode. I've done the research. But I also want you to do the research, because part of this series is to make you all free thinkers. I don't want you to just be sheeps. I want you to actually do the research for yourself and educate yourself on everything I'm saying or everything anyone says. Do the research. But here's some facts for you. Promotion chance without degrees after 5 years is about 34%. And it varies by industry, but a lot of times without a degree, you run into what is known as a glass ceiling. Now, here's an anecdotal experience. I ran into this myself. I worked at daycares for 10 years and I still do. I still do. But I understood that I had reached a ceiling with the daycares that I was working at. I knew that I wasn't going to really be able to get paid my worth at the daycares. So I stopped thinking about the money when it comes to that, and I think about the impact that I'm having because I work at daycares. But here's the thing. Because I knew that I would run into a glass ceiling, I decided I was going to go to school. And even knowing that it was a scam, I understood that if I wanted to get even deeper in the educational field, I needed to get my teaching degree. So that's what I set out to do. And it wasn't easy. In fact, it was extremely difficult. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you college is going to be easy, because it won't. It's going to be extremely hard. It's going to take a lot of sleepless nights, staying up all night doing homework. But you have to do it. And here's why you should do it. At the end of the day, if you want to move up the food chain, there's only two ways to do it. You can get you a degree and a lot of times skip the line, or you can work somewhere for 5 years plus in hopes that they promote you at some point or give you raises. Choice is yours. That 5 years is going to pass regardless. You get to decide how you want to spend it. Let's keep going. Average salary increase with a bachelor's degree versus a high school diploma is $26K plus. Lifetime earnings with a high school diploma, and this is over your whole lifespan, is $1.6 million for someone with a high school diploma and $2.8 million for someone with a bachelor's degree. Pretty much twice as much. Let's keep going. So, in the end, you can work at a job for 5 years with no degree and you might get promoted. But if someone with a degree walks in, they might get hired for the same position you applied for. Not because they're smarter than you, not because they have more experience than you, but because the system is created to trust that credential more than it trusts you. So keep that in mind. The credential really plays a huge role. Unfortunately, these degrees are the passcode, the cheat code, and they have become the key to opening certain doors. You might knock for years, and you might not get let in, and then you might see people who don't deserve that position as much as you do because you got the experience, you got the talent, but they have the degree. They might get that position before you do. Just food for thought. Think about it. So, I've highlighted the problem. I told you why you still need to face the problem. And now I want to give you some actionable tools of how you will face the problem. Here's action plan number 1. Before you go to college, please have an idea of what you want to do. This is important so you don't go to college and switch your major 3 to 4 times and go in a variety of directions or end up lost. I want you to actually go in there with a plan, some concrete plan, so you don't switch your major and try to go into a various different paths, so to speak. So it's very important that you don't do that, because if you do, it might end up costing you thousands of dollars before you ever make up your mind on what you actually want to do in life. And it's okay for you to go in there undecided, maybe your first semester, because you can take general education classes. But when it comes to actually getting into a degree path, don't do that until you know for sure what you want to do. And please pick something that you're naturally good at, because if you're naturally good at it and then you become passionate about it, you're able to get a career path that you actually enjoy and actually suits you better. And when you're naturally good at something, when you also apply effort on top of that, you then put yourself in a position where you can become a part of the top 10% of people in that career path, which means you'll get the most money. So think about that too. But number 2, again, this is before you go to college. You'll want to go to college before you have children or even get married. Why? Because it's a lot easier to get through school when you don't have to get through, when you don't have so many responsibilities and have to deal with the harsh realities of real life. Essentially, when you first go to school and you don't have any bills for real, you don't have any children that you have to take care of, or you're not married and have a husband or a wife you need to take care of, you're able to actually focus on school, and you're actually able to meet those deadlines that they have for every course. It's a little easier for you. So very important that you do that, right? Now, this part is when you are in school. Please, please, please pick a high return on investment major. That could be nursing, computer sciences, engineers, education, which is what I did, cybersecurity, or business, or even real estate. Something where once you do learn all these things and you become an expert in that field and a professional, you'll be making enough money to actually pay off the debt that you've accrued. Very important that you do that. I'd even add like being a lawyer or like law school or being a doctor. Like, these jobs have high return on investment. Like, the money you spend in college, when you actually do get the job, you'll be able to actually afford the debt that you've accrued. But make sure you don't quit. Make sure you actually get through it, because a lot of people drop out and now you have the debt without the degree, which means that you're still in a tough situation. And I'm putting this video out there so you don't have to go through that. Here's the next one. Go where it's cheap or free. Community college is okay. For maybe your first 2 years, you can get your associates, then you can transfer, and then you're already halfway done with your bachelor's degree. That's a way where you can cut down your cost expense, right? Or you can go to an in-state public university. It'll be cheaper for you because if you're a resident there, they give you a discount, right? Or you go work for an employer where they have a program that helps pay off the tuition at your school. That's another thing. I've also benefited from things like that. So it's very important that you have a plan when you decide that you're going to go to college, because these are options and avenues, but you want to make sure you map that out before you're already in it. All right. And then here's the last one. Get paid to learn. There's programs like work study, there's internships, there's co-ops, there's apprenticeships and trades, there's online certificates that you can get paid from. There's a variety of different things. I really want you guys to have these actionable tools, right? Because it's very important for you to use college as a lever and not a clutch. You have to build your network while you're in there, build your skill set, and maybe even start a side hustle. You know, while you're in school, that is your chance to actually cultivate who you're going to be when you get out of school. You just have to make sure you're going into a wide eye and with a plan. Make sure you know what you're doing when you go into college, right? That's how you actually beat the system. So, here's why this information is important and why I'm glad you're watching this video. If you're watching right now, you've probably been fed this lie your whole life. Just go to college and everything will work out. Or that you can go to college and there's going to be a major and not have a major and things will get figured out after that year. Or that you'll figure it out your third year or your second or your fifth year. Like, they tell you that at some point it's all going to just magically work out for you. And that's just not how it works. You have to have a plan. You have to be wise when you do these things. So, here's the thing. I want you to go to college, but I want you to have a plan. And the reason I want you to go to college is because knowledge is power. The reason I want you to have a plan is because when you have a plan, you are able to beat the system and it doesn't exploit you. When you go in there without a plan, college essentially exploits you and you owe the government forever. And some people are so bogged down with student loan debt that they just chalk it up that they're never going to pay it off. And that sounds okay, but it's really not, because it can prevent you from getting a house at some point. It can prevent you from being able to actually use your credit to leverage and buy a business or acquire your own business using business credit. Like, there's so many different things that it prevents you from doing if you don't actually pay off the debt. And we don't even think about these things. So I just wanted to make sure I woke you guys up and help you realize how important this stuff is. So in conclusion, kings and queens, don't be a pawn in the scam. Be a player in the system until you own the game. Go to college, get what you need, build your empire, and then come back and challenge the game for the next generation. Because sure, college is a scam, but if you know how to play it, that's your first step to breaking the matrix. Well, that concludes this episode in this first installment of the Break the Matrix series. I am taking a risk making content like this, but you guys need to hear this, and you deserve to know all the different lies we've been taught. So if you benefited from watching this video, or you know someone who can benefit from watching a video like this, basically anybody who has gone to college or is thinking about going to college, just send this video to them so it can help them get to thinking about putting together a plan. Ultimately, I know that we really are changing the world one person at a time. So as always, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Amen.